All right, today we're going to talk about a single court case that completely changed the game for millions of people in India. It's this incredible story of love versus, well, a super old law, and it all came to a head in one massive historic year. And that year, it was 2018. Yeah, this was the year that India's Supreme Court, in this massive case, Navtej Singh Johar versus the Union of India, handed down a verdict that just sent these shockwaves of hope across the entire country. So let's break down what exactly happened and why it was just so incredibly profound. Okay, but before we can really get the full picture of this huge win, we have to understand what they were up against. We need to talk about the problem, this really controversial colonial-era law called Section 377. So what was this thing? What did it actually do? Well, Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code basically made it a crime for any consenting adults to engage in certain sexual acts. And get this, even in the complete privacy of their own homes. I mean, we're talking about a law that reached into the most personal, private parts of a person's life. And that just brings up a huge question, right? In a modern democracy, how on earth was a law like this still on the books? Why did it need to be challenged so fiercely? Well, it all boiled down to this epic clash of ideas. You had the values of India's modern constitution going head-to-head with a law from a totally different, bygone colonial era. So think about it like this. On one side, you've got Section 377. And it didn't just criminalize an act. It basically criminalized a person's entire identity, forcing a huge group of citizens to live in constant fear. And then, on the other side, you have India's constitution, this incredible document that guarantees fundamental rights to every single citizen. You can see the collision course here. So when the Supreme Court looked at this, they found that Section 377 wasn't just a little bit off. It was in direct violation of 4 core constitutional rights. You've got Article 14, the right to equality for everyone, Article 15, which prohibits discrimination, Article 19, freedom of expression, and maybe the biggest one of all, Article 21, the fundamental right to life and personal liberty. You see, this was never just some minor legal squabble. This was a fight for the very soul of India's democracy. So how did the court wrap all this up? What did they say? Well, their final finding wasn't just some dry legal ruling. Oh no, it was this powerful, universal statement on what it means to live with dignity. And the verdict itself? It was absolutely decisive. A 5-judge bench came back with a unanimous decision. Let that sink in. Unanimous. This wasn't a split court. It was a single, clear, united message saying, time's up for this unjust law. And right at the very heart of that verdict was this incredible statement. The court said, sexual orientation is an intrinsic element of liberty, dignity, privacy, and equality. I mean, wow. With that one sentence, the court was saying that who you are and who you love, that's not separate from your basic human rights. It's a fundamental, non-negotiable part of them. Okay, so the law is gone. Great. But what did that actually mean for people on the ground in their everyday lives? Let's dig into the real-world impact of this decision, because this is where it gets really important. You can really see the impact in 3 big steps. First, obviously, it struck down a deeply discriminatory law, but it went so much deeper than that. Second, it powerfully affirmed that the rights in the Constitution belong to all citizens. No ifs, ands, or buts. And third, and this is key, it didn't just end something old, it started something new. It paved the way for a future of much greater equality and acceptance. So this 2018 ruling, it was a massive victory. No doubt about it. A truly historic course correction for India. But, like all great leaps forward for human rights, it's really just one step on a much longer journey. And that kind of leaves us with a final question to think about. What is the next frontier for equality?